Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, and what the heck is going on? Because I'm not really sure. The modder Twisted Mexi has been such a tease on Twitter lately, and it's killing me trying to figure out what the heck he's cooking up. Because he's been teasing this thing that he's working on called Project Raven. Usually I don't make speculation videos about mods, but I had to today, especially when I saw Twisted Maxi post this GIF earlier saying Willow Creek traffic is really getting out of hand with the hashtags Project Raven, Sims 4, and The Sims 4. And you can see here, it is the starter neighborhood from Willow Creek, and I'm pretty sure there are cars that normally drive by on this road, but not even close to this many. You can even see some trucks on the right side just being like tailgating each other. It's kind of funny, but it's just like, whoa, what is happening here? And earlier in the month, he also posted this GIF. This one just has a winking emoji, nothing more, but I think this is still related to Project Raven. And you just see some trees populating this empty space here. So it does make me wonder, what is going on here? What is Twisted Mexi making? Well, I think it probably is going to be a world editing tool, especially after the GIF with all of the traffic. It could be either for editing existing worlds or creating entirely new ones. And here's something pretty interesting. I think I may have cracked the code because I was trying to figure out why would this thing be called Project Raven of all things? Was it because, oh, this Realm of Magic just came out and there's a Raven familiar? But what's interesting with The Sims 3's Create a World tool, when you abbreviate it, it's CAW, Create a World. And then it clicked. I was just like, wait. When I was making like CAW, the file name for these voiceover files, I was like, wait a minute. Ravens, what sound do they make? Caw, caw. I guess then you could also have called it Project Seagull, but yeah, still. That makes me really think, oh my god, is Twisted Maxi really making a Create a World tool? If I'm correct, if I have cracked the code, it actually leaves me with more questions than answers, because the worlds in The Sims 4 work so differently than they have compared to the past games, because every save in The Sims 4 has every world that's currently available, instead of how in previous games it would just be one save for Pleasant View, or one save for Sunset Valley, or one save for Bridgeport, with the exception of the vacation worlds, of course, but you would only have one main world, whereas in The Sims 4, all of them are there. And of course, there's also the fact that The Sims 4's worlds are more closed than they were in The Sims 3, where each world is comprised of at least a few different neighborhoods. Well, some of them are just one, but most of them have at least a couple of different neighborhoods, but they're not connected seamlessly like they are in The Sims 3. They're separated by loading screens, and they're kind of like their own little bubbles. Though at least with Seasons, they got rid of a little bit of that feeling, because if you go to a district in one world, and then go over to a neighboring one in that same world, then there still will be that same weather. And then if you do go to what is classified as a completely different world, then you will get different weather with a different climate. So when you factor in all of those things, it might actually be a lot more difficult to make a Create a World tool than it was for The Sims 3. And what was kind of funny with Create a World in The Sims 3, I'm pretty sure it never left beta status. It was just called Create a World Beta right up until the very end of The Sims 4's lifecycle. Also, I did bring up the point of every Sims 4 save having every world, because having a Create a World tool could cause some serious performance issues, because with each new world brings bigger save files, because then you'll also have more Sims and more neighborhoods to deal with. So then that could cause a problem, a big problem, if you have tons of custom worlds installed. And I'm sure you've noticed lately, the worlds have gotten a lot smaller coming from Maxis and EA than the ones we had earlier on in the game's life cycle, like Windenburg. Now we're getting much smaller worlds than that. I don't know if we'll ever get a world again that could even rival the size of Windenburg, and I find that really sad. But if we did have a create a world tool, then it would be pretty easy for us to just go wild and add tons of worlds, tons of Sims, and what if it ends up being like The Sims 3, where saves could end up really corrupting from this sort of thing? So that makes me pretty worried, and even if that was not an issue, I wonder what would stop these custom worlds from breaking every time an official one was added with a new pack from EA and Maxis, or even every single update. So I am thinking it still might not be a full-on create a world tool like what we had in The Sims 3, despite it possibly being that with the whole Raven Caw thing. But I think it would be a lot more feasible to have a tool to edit the existing worlds and do pretty much whatever we want with them. We kinda got a step towards that already with one of Twisted Mexi's previous mods, the Tool mod, which allows you to place objects off lot in the public space that is surrounding your lot. So you can have even more stuff in those public spaces, so you can just go and have your Sims walk over, do all that stuff without having to hit an extra loading screen. And yeah, we could maybe edit more stuff that way with this new mod or tool or whatever this is, so that you could replace the backdrops, plant more trees like in that GIF. I don't know about replacing the lots. I think that could potentially break the worlds themselves, but that would be cool if you could at least have it so that you could replace the existing lots so that they're bigger sizes, or even try to fit more lots in. But then you'd also have the issue of the map art. I was just thinking about that because I just uploaded a new one earlier today for Glimmerbrook. So then how would you handle the map art? Because then you would also have to draw that for whenever you make a new world. How would that work? Could there be some sort of way so that it just intelligently draws everything in the same style as the Maxis art? I don't know. That's just like another big obstacle there. But man, if all of these issues could be dealt with in a good way, a creative world tool could really extend the life of this game and bring a lot more creativity, and I think it would get a lot more people playing the game again. It really feels like this year, EA and Maxis have dropped the ball. I don't know what happened. Last year I thought was really good, my first pet stuff aside, but everything else I thought was great. And then this year, it's just so mixed. It's such a mixed bag. So if they brought out a create a world tool, at least we could solve the issues of their worlds being so small, and instead we could make worlds that are the size that we would like them to be, or how they would look, because there's still some worlds that I feel could be more represented. Like, it'd be really interesting if they did a world that's based in Africa, for example, or just even even something a little bit more unusual and less requested, like an Arctic world, like Sakartok, which you saw towards the beginning of this video. The possibilities would just be so much more. And if The Sims 4 does have about another 5 years left, like I've been thinking lately, it wouldn't exactly be too late to implement a create a world tool if it were to come within the next couple of years or so. There'd still be a lot of life left, and still reason to play around with the game before hopefully eventually the next iteration of The Sims comes out, because I don't think The Sims 4 should stick around forever. Maybe one thing that could happen, whether Create a World happens through this mod or through Maxis themselves, is that they set some sort of hard limit depending on your computer specs as to how many custom worlds you can have in your game. Because then if people try to get around that limit and end up breaking their saves in the process, then there'd be far less people trying to blame the modder or EA Maxis for that problem, because it's just like, oh, well, they did that to themselves. It's not like they were just completely given free reign. They were given a warning. So in conclusion, it does seem like whatever Twisted Mexi is working on is a world editor tool, or a tool to make entirely new worlds, but I'm a little scared of what could happen if I'm right. There definitely are some factors to consider, especially if it is a tool that allows us to make entirely new worlds from scratch. So I'm not just gonna be like, ooh, let's send EA's wig flying all the way to Pluto. No, it might not be that simple, but hopefully it won't be too much longer until this thing is fully unveiled, because oh my gosh, this teasing is killing me, like I said at the beginning of the video. Like, oh my gosh, it feels like as if I'm waiting for an official pack to be revealed. So let me know in the comment section below, do you think Twisted Maxi is making Create a World for The Sims 4? Or do you think it's something else entirely? And be sure to subscribe if you want to keep up with my latest content from The Sims, Sonic the Hedgehog, and more. So I will talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!